Let's not kid ourselves, every guy has felt it. One day, she's lighting up your phone, showing interest, trying to stay close. Then out of nowhere, her vibe shifts, her messages get shorter, her energy pulls back. And you? You start scrambling, texting more, chasing harder, trying to fix something that shouldn't even be broken. That right there is where everything flips. You go from leading the connection to chasing it. And once she senses that shift, game over. Here's the harsh truth. Women don't chase what they're sure they already have. They chase what they think they could lose. It's not about being manipulative, it's about self-respect. Most men confuse love with availability. They think the more they give, the more she'll feel. But when you overgive without her earning it, she doesn't feel grateful. She feels secure, too secure. And when she feels too secure too soon, she stops investing. Modern dating rewards men who understand one thing. Your presence is only powerful when it's earned. If you make it too easy, it loses its weight. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 strategies that quietly flip the emotional script. Not by pretending to be someone you're not, but by showing her you're not afraid to walk away. These are the moves that make her feel your absence before she even realizes it's happening. When you stop over-explaining. When you stop being emotionally available on demand. When you pull back without drama or noise, she starts to feel it. And that feeling, that fear of losing you, it changes everything. Let's get into the mindset and the moves that put you back in control. Sign number 1. Pull back without warning. Most men only pull back after they've been hurt or ignored. That's too late. The key is to pull back before she expects it, while everything still feels good. This is when it hits her the hardest. She doesn't see it coming. She starts replaying everything in her head, wondering what shifted, what she did wrong, and why you suddenly feel far away. That moment of confusion creates emotional chaos, and in that chaos, the fear of losing you is born. Pulling back doesn't mean disappearing completely. It means reducing your energy, slowing your responses, and removing your emotional availability. When you're always there, always texting, always showing up, she never gets to miss you. She doesn't get a chance to sit with silence and ask herself what's going on. That silence is powerful. Women aren't used to it from a man they like. They're used to men chasing, explaining, begging. So when you don't do that, it shocks the system. This tactic only works if you've been consistent first. That way, she has something to compare it to. If you've been distant from day one, pulling back means nothing. But if she's been used to your presence, your interest, your attention, and then suddenly you stop pouring like you used to, her emotions get loud. She doesn't panic outwardly at first, but trust this, she notices. She refreshes the chat. She wonders if she said too much. She replays the last call. That emotional space forces her to think about you in ways she never did when you were too available. The modern dating world is noisy. Women have options, but most of those options are men who overplay their hand. They think persistence wins her. What wins her is absence that feels real. Not fake games, but detachment. She has to feel that she's not in control of your attention anymore. That's when she starts to reach. That's when she becomes genuine. You don't need to make a big scene or announce it. Just become busy. Focus on your life. Leave her wondering. Let the silence speak. Women fear the unknown. And when you pull back without a clear reason, that unknown becomes a loud alarm in her mind. It makes her realize what she might lose. And that realization is what flips the entire dynamic in your favor. Sign number 2. Be comfortable being silent. Silence is power. Most men ruin their position with a woman simply because they don't know how to sit with silence. They always feel the need to explain themselves, clarify what they meant, check in, or fix a vibe that doesn't even need fixing. But here's the truth. Women don't fear a man who constantly talks. They fear the one who can go quiet without losing his mind. The man who can disappear into silence without flinching communicates one thing: control. In modern dating, attention is currency. Whoever holds it longer wins. If you're always the one to break the silence, you're giving up that power. Women know that most men can't handle distance. That's why they test it. They go quiet, pull away, or act uninterested, just to see if you'll chase. And most of the time, men fail this test within minutes. A woman doesn't even have to say she's annoyed or distant. A simple one-word reply is enough to make a guy send a paragraph, over-apologize, or double text. When that happens, you've shown her that your emotions are tied to her approval. A man who's comfortable being silent knows that his worth isn't tied to instant responses. He understands that emotional space creates tension, and tension creates attraction. Women need that tension. It's what makes them think, imagine, worry, and eventually crave your presence. But if every time she slows down, you rush in, you rob her of that space to miss you. Let her wonder, let her stew in her own thoughts. If she says something confusing or vague, don't rush to clarify it. Let it sit. If she goes quiet for hours or days, match her silence without breaking a sweat. That's not cold. That's called emotional discipline. And that's rare in a world where men constantly chase validation. Here's where most guys get it wrong. They think silence is a punishment. No, it's a tool. You don't go silent to hurt her. You go silent because you don't need to overexpose yourself to stay relevant. The more mystery you hold, the more valuable you become. Every message you don't send is a question she gets to ask herself. Every hour you don't check in is a window for her curiosity to grow. Silence leaves blanks, and women hate blanks, need to fill them. You'll know this tactic is working when she starts reaching out with questions, jokes, or sudden sweetness out of nowhere. That's her trying to break your silence without asking directly. That's her wondering where your attention went. And that wondering is fear. Not fear that you're dangerous, but fear that she's no longer in control of your emotional response. If you want a woman to fear losing you, you have to show her that you're perfectly fine not hearing from her. Most men can't do that. That's why most men get ignored. Don't be most men. Sign number 3. Cultivate your exclusivity. When a man demonstrates that his time and presence are valuable commodities, it sets him apart in the dating arena. For a woman, knowing that you have a life outside of her makes you even more desirable. You become a man with your own plans, commitments, and interests, someone who isn't available at a moment's notice. This exclusivity forces her to reevaluate how much she takes you for granted. It's not about playing games, it's about being real and self-assured in every area of your life. When you build a social life rich with friendships, personal achievements, and interests that excite you, you project a sense of fulfillment that she can't help but notice. Exclusivity is built when you make clear that you're not solely available to her. Invest time in hobbies, meetings with friends, and professional commitments. When you're out building your world, she starts to feel your absence. And that absence heightens her awareness of your value. You create an emotional gap that she begins to fill with self-questioning. Is she enjoying your company enough? Is she making the effort to be a significant part of your already busy life? Each time she experiences that longing for your presence, she starts to worry that if she doesn't invest in you, you might find someone who appreciates what you bring to the table. Think of it this way. The more you expand your world, the less dependent you become on her for validation. In doing so, you send a powerful signal, one that says you are in demand. Her comfort in your availability slowly morphs into insecurity, because she is now faced with the realization that your attention is being sought by more than just one person. You don't need to announce it loudly or broadcast every social engagement. The silent truth lies in your actions. When she receives fewer messages or sees photos of you engaging with friends and living life fully, it unsettles her. That slight disruption in the daily routine of your interactions will keep her on edge, always aware that she is not the sole focus of your life. The technique is subtle, yet effective. It calls for a careful balance, where you never come off as disinterested, but rather as naturally committed to your own pursuits. It's about living with purpose, so that every moment without you becomes a question mark for her. Even during conversations or dates, infuse your dialogue with mentions of future plans and past successes. Let her catch a glimpse of the vibrant life you lead. In this way, you not only command her respect, but also ignite a quiet urgency in her that whispers, "If I lose him, what other opportunities might I be missing?" Ultimately, cultivating your exclusivity transforms the dating experience. It positions you as a prize in her eyes, someone whose presence is cherished not because it's constant, but because it's rare. This subtle, almost unnoticeable switch in your behavior triggers the fear of loss. It makes her work harder to win back your attention. And in that effort, she invests more, ensuring that every encounter is charged with real emotion and significance. Sign number 4. Stop explaining yourself. The moment a man starts explaining himself too much, he starts lowering his value. In the modern dating world, over-explaining is seen as insecurity. It signals that you're seeking approval, that you're scared she misunderstood you, that you're walking on eggshells just to keep her interested. And guess what? The second she senses that fear, the attraction begins to die. A man who triggers a woman's fear of losing him doesn't beg to be understood. He stands on his words and lets them sit. You don't need to defend every decision. If you didn't reply to a text for a few hours, don't come back with a list of reasons. Don't start with, "Sorry, I was busy, I had this and that going on." That weakens your position. Instead, just pick up the conversation with confidence, like a man who doesn't feel the need to justify his life. If she gets distant or cold, you don't have to ask what's wrong over and over. If she's acting funny, don't chase her emotional state trying to prove you care. Be aware, yes, but don't start explaining things she didn't even ask you to explain. When a woman sees that you're calm under pressure, that you're not shaken by awkward silences or emotional shifts, she starts to respect you more. And where there's respect, there's fear. Fear that she could lose a man who doesn't fold. Women test men with silence, attitude, and subtle provocations, not because they're cruel, but because they want to feel the strength behind the charm. If your charm disappears the moment things get tense, then it was never real strength to begin with. The key here is emotional stillness. When something feels off, don't rush to fix it. When you sense she's pulling back, don't start pouring explanations all over the place hoping to keep her. That desperation leaks through your words, even if you're trying to sound casual. What keeps a woman up at night is a man who doesn't explain, but whose actions are consistent. She'll wonder why you didn't overreact. She'll start reviewing her own actions instead of yours. That's how you flip the dynamic. Think about the men women chase long after the connection fades. It's not the ones who plead their case. It's the ones who walked away without giving a full story. The ones who didn't give her closure. The ones who let their silence do all the explaining. And that silence, that lack of explanation, it triggers her deeply. Because women are wired to seek emotional clarity, when you refuse to give it too easily, you create depth. You become a mystery, and in her world of predictable men, you become unforgettable. So stop explaining, say what you mean once and move forward. If she values you, she'll follow your energy. If she doesn't, no amount of explaining will change her mind. Silence is a louder statement than any justification. And when used properly, it becomes a quiet storm that shakes her entire emotional balance. That's when she starts fearing she's already lost you. Sign number 5. Be willing to walk away. Nothing makes a woman more emotionally unstable than a man who is genuinely willing to walk away. Not fake walking away, not pretending to be done while still checking in behind the scenes. I'm talking about a man who has the strength to cut the emotional cord and disappear if he's not respected. That type of man is dangerous in the most attractive way possible. You see, most women are used to men holding on no matter what. No matter how badly she behaves, how much she disrespects him, or how obviously she loses interest, the average man sticks around hoping to prove his worth. He waits for her to come back. He stays emotionally available even when she's long gone mentally, and because women are smart, they can feel that. They know when you're bluffing, they know when your silence is just bait, but when a woman feels that your silence is real and worse, permanent, that's when panic hits. This is the real test of masculine energy. Can you detach when you're not being treated the way you know you deserve? Can you let her go without making noise, without trying to convince her to stay, and without falling into an emotional breakdown? If you can, you become a different kind of man in her eyes. One that doesn't need her but simply chooses her when she's in alignment. One that values peace more than persuasion. Walking away isn't about revenge. It's not about teaching her a lesson either. It's about reinforcing your value with action. You don't threaten to leave, you just leave. You don't say things like, "If you keep doing this, I'm out." No, you just stop showing up. You let your absence speak the loudest, and it always does. Because when you disappear without drama, the silence echoes louder than any argument. Here's the beauty of it. When you walk away, you give her space to feel everything she's been avoiding. She'll feel the silence, she'll feel the gap your presence used to fill. And if she had any real interest in you, that fear of losing you will slap her harder than any sweet text you could have sent. That's when she starts to chase. That's when she starts reevaluating everything. A woman only takes you seriously when she knows she could lose you for real. As long as she thinks you'll always be there no matter how she acts, she'll never truly value you. But the moment she realizes your love has boundaries, your presence has standards, and your time has limits, she starts to adjust. She starts to think twice. She starts putting effort in again. So the next time you feel like you're forcing it, remember this. Your silence is power, but your absence is louder. Don't be afraid to walk away when the respect is gone. That move alone will do more to shake her emotions than any explanation ever could. And if she doesn't come back, she was never yours to begin with. But if she does, she'll return with a whole new level of respect. Sign number 6. Give her less than she expects. The modern man is constantly being told to give more. More compliments, more attention, more time, more access. But what actually works in today's dating game is the opposite. Give her less than she expects, not out of bitterness, not out of ego, but because giving too much too soon always destroys mystery and triggers comfort. And comfort, when not earned, always leads to boredom. What keeps a woman emotionally on edge, constantly thinking about you, is when she never fully knows what she'll get from you next. You want to trigger a woman's fear of losing you? Then you must disrupt her ability to predict you. The guy who's too consistent with praise, too quick to respond, too available with time, too generous with attention, he becomes emotionally flat, predictable, easy, and women don't chase easy, they chase depth. And depth comes from unpredictability. Giving her less than she expects doesn't mean being cold or rude. It means being just enough to stay present, but never more than necessary. It means holding back just enough to keep her curious. A compliment that comes once in a while is far more valuable than one she hears every day. A date that ends early by your choice lingers in her mind more than one that drags on because you're scared to lose her. A text she has to wait a little longer to get hits harder than one that shows up instantly every time. Why? Because it puts her in a space where she's constantly trying to figure you out. That space is powerful. That space is emotional leverage. You give her less than she expects when you stop oversharing, when you stop revealing your feelings too early, when you don't lay your whole emotional identity on the table within the first few weeks. You allow her to wonder. You let her sit in silence. You let her miss you between interactions. And because humans value what they chase more than what they're given, she'll start chasing. She'll put in effort. She will start giving more to try to receive more from you. This method makes you different from almost every other guy out there. Because most men believe the key is to show her he's all in fast and loud. But all that does is make her feel too secure too quickly. Once a woman feels she's won you before she's even had to try, she pulls back. But if she feels like she's still trying to win you, if she's unsure where she stands, she invests more, not less. Remember this. Attention loses value when it's too easy to get. Your energy becomes expensive when it's rare. And when you give less than she expects, she starts checking herself. She starts wondering if she's slipping, if she did something wrong, if she's no longer special to you. That's how you trigger her fear of loss, by not giving her everything she's used to getting from other men. Keep her slightly off balance, and you'll keep her emotionally locked in. Sign number 7. Detach without emotionally warning. Emotional detachment is one of the most powerful tools a man can use, not out of revenge, not to play games, but to instantly shift the power dynamic and trigger a woman's deepest fear. The fear of no longer being desired. When a woman feels you emotionally unplug from her without drama or announcement, it throws her into a mental spiral, especially if she once had your full attention. The silence, the calm, the indifference, it cuts deeper than any words could. Because now she knows you're no longer emotionally invested, and when you detach without warning, it makes her question everything. Most men think pulling away means ghosting, ignoring texts, or giving the cold shoulder. That's not what this is about. Emotional detachment is subtle. It's when you're physically there but mentally gone. You're not bitter, you're just done giving emotional access. You still talk, but with distance. You still show up, but not with the same warmth. And here's what makes it powerful. It's not noisy, it's quiet. It's not announced, it's felt. She starts feeling the shift before she understands it. That's where the fear begins to build. This tactic works especially well when a woman starts taking your attention for granted. When she stops showing up emotionally but still expects you to be fully engaged. When she gives you breadcrumbs but expects a full course meal from you. Instead of complaining or demanding more from her, you just start caring less. You stop investing in conversations that go nowhere. You stop responding with emotion. You stop trying to create moments, and she notices it quickly. The woman who was once confident in your attachment will suddenly feel the rug being pulled from under her. And unlike a loud argument or a dramatic breakup, emotional detachment offers no closure. That's what makes it so powerful. It lingers in her mind. It haunts her. She replays past conversations, wondering when the shift happened. She checks your tone, your replies, your silence, and starts internalizing the distance. That internal chaos is where her fear of losing you is born, not from your anger, but from your stillness. Understand this. Emotional detachment isn't weakness, it's strength. It's control. It shows that you're not emotionally dependent on her reactions, affection, or approval. And when a man reaches that state, it's impossible to manipulate him. She can cry, flirt, pull away, come close. None of it moves you unless it's real. That's when she starts second-guessing everything she's done. That's when she realizes how much your presence once meant. That's when she understands that your silence isn't a tactic, it's a statement. So don't warn her. Don't tell her, I'm going to stop caring. Just stop. Detach slowly, calmly, and completely. Be pleasant, but distant. Be present, but unavailable. And when she starts reaching, pulling, and reacting, that's your confirmation. The fear of losing you is alive, and you didn't have to say a word. If you want to trigger a woman's fear of losing you, stop chasing and start leading. Shift the focus back to your value. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less, but with purpose. The moment she feels you're not emotionally dependent on her, that you can walk away without warning her, mindset changes. She'll feel the pressure to show up or lose you for good. This is how you reclaim power in modern dating. Not with words, not with force, but with calm control, quiet strength, and the willingness to leave when you're no longer being valued. If you're serious about mastering the dating game, don't forget to subscribe on the channel. We go beyond what's covered in these videos, giving you powerful insights from the first approach to lasting attraction every day. Don't wait to discover my content on the channel now. Take action now and start transforming your dating life today.